Rarely, rare, you know, David's in the anyway.
Okay.
He's going out of town. Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Maysville Board of Commissioners Thursday, the 28th of April, 2022 to order. Special meeting. We have
All right, keep rolling.
we'll start with our invocation.
What do you want to do? Well, you got roll call first. Unless I've got a different.
I got it backward.
Oh,
That's fine.
okay. It don't matter.
We can do roll
Yeah,
call
it doesn't
first.
matter. Go ahead.
Wait, Mr. Carter.
Thank you.
Would you like for me to do
Wait, let me do it?
Yes.
I ain't scared.
Oh, Mayor Cotterell's going to do it.
Dear Lord, we thank you for the many blessings that you have given us each day, and we ask you to lead this group that we make good decisions for the citizens of Maysville. These things we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmel,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood,
Here.
Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cotterill,
Yes, ma'am.
City Manager Wallingford,
Here.
Controller Stanfield, HR Director Rose,
Here.
Project Coordinator Horde,
Here.
Public Works Director Truesdale,
Here.
Chief Palmer,
Here.
Chief Doyle,
Here.
Utility Manager Julian,
Here.
Planning and Zoning Administrator Larger, Building Inspector Fawcett, Codes Officer Brooks, Tourism Director Halloran, Main Street Director Reese.
Thank you. Closed session pursuant to KRS 61.8101F, discussion that might lead to appointment of individual employee. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmel,
Yeah.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cotterill.
Yes, ma'am.
Get your accreditation done.
Well, that's what the version, I mean, that's like. No one knew that it's probably last meeting. I didn't know that. I was like, Gallon, almost had all his money. I'm in order to see, not like house. One time.
Mark. My grammar got corrected by it in there.
No.
I bet you can't guess who corrected my grammar.
Nope.
Well, that's right. Unselfish. It's either unselfish or selfless, however you want to say it. Whatever you think is
Either
correct
way,
grammar. I
either
just got
way.
spanked for my grammar. I'm good. I'm a big boy.
I said, self.
So yeah, whatever you think flows better, there's a more proper word. I spell checked and edited and
Damn it.
Yeah, sounds like it. Stuff out today, sorry guys.
Did you really get the personal?
Okay, yes, I will.
Guinness. You're
It's a big employee. I'll do that more bonders.
Oh,
I'm gonna be outside hopefully.
yeah, see, like, I don't do it when I get off work, cause I gotta get home so she can go to work. But today I'm off and today I go to work, when I go to the gym. Unless I'm working overtime. I'm gonna miss you.
It's gonna bash you on the side of the road.
It's gonna scream out. At random times.
I do.
I know, I'm gonna miss it. You on your toes?
How many miles you?
Wait, tomorrow? I don't know. Depends on what the weather's like. It's not raining.
I'm not traveling for an hour or so in the morning. What?
No, I'm gonna get on that.
Which one? Which one shot? One all the way to the road? Oh, no, I've been shopping that one. That's one I use now since somebody kicked me off the other one.
Just throw me out of my mojo.
The one over the windows when I use, it's never shocked me. Huh? But I'm only doing it for 10 minutes. I gotta work into this. I'm a little hard, so I just do. Yeah. Well, every other time I try to get back to where I was a couple of years ago, I end up hurting something, and I take more time off, and then I'm further behind than I was. I'm just working into it this time.
David, they finally switch out all the tanks.
Are those the
3 of them.
No,
Fertilizer season. That's you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them are nice and local.
Yeah. He did. Yeah, he did. Just recently. He texted me one day and said,
So I'll be back.
Thank you, Penny. Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting back to order. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Second?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yeah.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. budget session.
Where you want to start? You want to start with David or Kevin, or you got anything particular you want to?
No, I'm just gonna give you kind of an update where I'm at. Still putting some of the things together to get the books together. Should have it within the next week. Still getting some information on some of the line items, so we'll get that to you as soon as possible. We're just gonna kind of start with some of the capital project requests today, and then we'll carry on whenever we decide to schedule another meeting. But
Yeah.
we're getting there.
And when we get done talking with these two departments, we'll talk about when we want to go into the next one.
Okay.
Dave, you want to start and
Yeah.
go over yours? Come up here if you don't care. Just anywhere, yeah, right there, so you get close to the mic.
Can you go move down one or more? I'm just trying to get you on camera.
One more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're
Yes.
good.
I left you all a little updated sheet when we went into closed session. Matt had asked me kind of the highlighted ones in orange are ones that, the first one up there, West Third Street roadway repair, it says 20,000. We're not doing it because Columbia Gas is gonna be in that area, which I'll discuss that a little bit in the next meeting. So I'm probably gonna just, I don't need to do that right now because we don't wanna fix something and then have to fix it again. The second one there, the Country Club Heights storm drain, that's one that's gonna be, that we need to try to carry over. We've done, we're doing our drainage study, we've pretty much got it completed. I am talking to a few people about easements. That could be a difficult process going through somebody's yards, front yards, so. But I still wanna keep that project open, if we can.
So David, you're saying that project is currently in the current budget and
Yeah, it's
you wanna
in,
move
it's
it
in the
forward?
current budget, and I would like to move it forward, if at all possible. Because we've not spent anything on that yet, really, per se.
Okay.
Are you going through Joel's yard?
Joel.
Eaches?
Well, no, it'll be, those are easements in the back.
Okay.
It's 3 properties there at the end
Oh, okay.
that we have to cut across to get to our storm drain.
Okay, all right.
Okay, before it cuts back over all those parking lots and goes to Boone Drive, out that way.
Thank you.
The other one there, probation and parole roof, I asked for 50,000, that was approved last year, but the bids come in at 100,000.
You want to explain why?
Well, there's 2 roofs already on it. We thought there was 1, but there's actually 2 when we recorded, and you can only put 2 on in Kentucky, you can't put 3 on per building code, so it has to come off. So that was the reason that both of those roofs will have to come off and the new one would have to go on.
Okay.
If we want to do that, that's pretty much the price. That's 100,000. We have repaired it. We've done some work to it. It's currently not leaking, but that's the next one on our inventory list to do.
But we generate revenue on that though.
Yes,
Dave, did you ask the MACA people to bid that? The ones that did the big roof for us?
Mica Plastic.
Yeah.
5-star roofing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we've got bid, the 100,000 was the cheapest one. I am from 200 to 100.
Okay.
That's great.
Yeah. Now,
Was that a local bid?
the one, no, it was, Garland Roofing, is who it was, out of Cincinnati, Ohio, but they actually did the one for, the police department, which, that's been good. I mean, we haven't had one problem with it, that was 4 years ago, that was done. So, and they're guaranteed for 25 years, they do a very good job. But the rest of that, the one I've added down there at the bottom, that's the sidewalk project. But I think that'll.
That is the one that we're gonna do a budget amendment on for,
If we get
if we get,
to that point.
if we get to that point, yes. We would do a budget amendment on that for this fiscal year.
So that's something we may talk about. And basically, that's, when the rest of it on there, I mean, we can start back at the top, the roadway, bridge and culvert repair. That usually goes in every year.
And that's something we already have included, it's
Sure.
kind of in our general maintenance.
Okay.
Jenny's got it included in there. Now, the Limestone Landing, Fountain and Underpass, we've talked about that for several years. But the brickwork around the Limestone Landing, it's as old as it is, 30-plus years old. There's a lot of trip hazard areas in there, which Dennis can probably attest to that. Basically, we were gonna we've taken those pavers up and put down washed aggregate, makes it look a lot cleaner and neater. And then under the railroad trestle that goes down to the river, we were looking at doing something with it because there's a lot of spalling concrete and pieces falling off, and there's things that were done years ago with the hands of children and stuff. They keep falling off and we probably need to do something with that. And that's just a project for, repair and maintenance basically, but it's also beautification as well, so.
Is that something we could use the funds that we kind of allocated for Riverwalk, because it is kind of part of that?
Probably could, but I think I put Limestone Landing in there.
Yeah.
I thought so, I mean, we kind of already have those funds allocated.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's
as
alluding to
as
that money.
restricted
You guys
funds.
remember last year?
So that's actually could be counted as a carryover funds too.
Yeah, we
since
could
it's already-
use part of those restricted funds that we restricted for those type of projects last year.
Okay.
Or in this current year's budget.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing, the canopy for the fuel depot, I get several complaints over that, where we actually fuel at, okay? One thing that we have problems with out there too is we have equipment that's there. It's a digital, we have pump, we have a digital card reader, things like that. Being exposed to the elements like that, it takes a toll on it. Of course, we have a maintenance contract we do with them every year, but we do have problems.
Yes.
With that, quite a bit with ice and snow, stuff like that. This canopy is just like one you'd pull up to a gas station. It wouldn't be anything beautiful, but it would be something that it would cover a truck or part of a bus or, and it's something we've talked about doing, but that's a budget item. It's not a necessity, but it is something that, we really want to look at. The Market Street Electric, that's something we've talked about for years. I think, Carol, they're looking to do some things on Middle Market Street. We have electric for our lights and things, but it's up high on the poles. This is more something that would bring it down where we could have accessible electric and 240. Something that you could actually, use for festivals and things. But this is a cost that we could do most of the conduit work with our crews. Then it's just the electric wire and all that kind of stuff is really expensive right now. But that's kind of a general cost for that. That's what that's about. The Limestone Creek Pump Station. I just did bid all the electrical on it. The bids will be in May 3rd, next week, next Tuesday, Wednesday. This is a little bit more than what's projected the cost will be, but that's to put all new electric in the Limestone Creek Pump Station. A switch where we can actually hook a generator up. If all electric goes out, the generator can be used, which we've already secured one of those through a local contractor that we'd be able to use in case something would go out that could be plugged in and could operate that whole pump station. And this is also the electric for the new pump that should be here by the end of May. That pump will not go in this year because by the time it gets here and we get everything, contracts ready, bid out, we'd be back into flood season again. So that'll be something that would happen next year. So we didn't have anything in the budget last year for this because we had all kinds of problems, COVID, things that were going on. So this is the line item for this year.
So is that then different than the cost of the pump? This is
The
everything
pump
it
is
takes to
already-
put it in?
The pump has already been paid for. I
We
think we,
use the CDBG money for that.
yeah, and
$250.
I think we owe 10% or whatever the final bill is, but yes.
We've got 50 left.
David, why couldn't you go ahead and put the new pump in?
We will set the pump. It'll come, we're doing a roof hatch in the top of it, so we can actually set it in with a crane, but we can't put the piping in to the river,
Oh, okay,
because we'll be going under the flood wall down to the river.
gotcha.
And that's the reason it won't be done. You know, if it gets here the end of May, and now, if the bids come in good and we can start work on this project, they could possibly be ready by June, July. But the trouble is, what they're telling us, the things that we need, the electrical supplies, some of them are a year out.
The NDS pay is gonna be at least,
And the
Year to
control
18 months.
stations and things like that. I mean, it's just, that's the price. I just can't really tell you, but I know that we can get started, we could buy some of the materials. And they may be able to do all this year sometime, maybe, so.
David, how many packets did you put out on that electric?
1, 2, we had 3 bidders. Or I think we're gonna have 3 bidders, they're not back in. We had a pre-bid conference and 2 showed up.
Okay.
Handicapped sidewalk repairs, I think that's already included. One-stop building flooring, that'll be, some for tile and things on the first floor and second floor. We got some areas that, well, it's as old as the building is. I talked to you about Country Club Heights, Mcdonald Parkway West parking lot. Again, that's something we've talked about, you know, and I know it wasn't approved last year. That parking lot stays about half full now. You know, we got it as a storage lot too, but it's something that we really need to talk about, trying to get it improved and, you know, maybe use it for events or put something else down there that we want to do. That's more of a upgrade and beautification project. Green Street widening, that's gonna become a problem out on Green Street in Washington. There's a lot of development, there's things going on there. I've got a section of that street we really need to widen from Hill City Road down to your first street there, your first cross street. And this is a good number for that.
Could municipal road aid money be used for that?
Yes, it could be, if we get, you know,
Okay.
We haven't got our contract.
Yeah.
and I'm in.
But that could possibly be
that
utilized.
could possibly be used for that.
Okay,
This would be new construction, it'd add about 1.5 feet to each side of the street is what we can get. And that's about what we need.
and didn't when we originally talked about that, was doing widening from roughly Duke of York to Jail Street?
Yes, Jail Street.
Jail Street, so not the entire section
No.
of Green Street, but from Duke of York where the fire station is to Jail Street.
I don't wanna speed up the speed limit. We just wanna make it safe for a delivery truck and a car, because right now it's really touchy, you know. And you can see if you drive out there.
You've got to keep people out of those ditches.
Yeah.
They go off the road there.
US Bank, City Hall, French Quarter, seal and stripe. We're due to do that to seal our parking lots and stripe them in those 3 areas. Try to do that every 4 or 5 years. This one's past due. But,
Is it hard to get the striping paint? I heard it was.
well, what, if we can see, and we may be able to save a little money if Dennis's crew has time to stripe it, you know, but we're talking about there's a shortage on paint.
Yeah,
Uh,
striping paint.
It's hard to get yellow, it's hard to get white,
You can't get it.
and that's what we're trying to
Certain ways
secure.
can't get it.
Tuck Point, that'd be the last thing left on the meeting house, the Tuck Point, and, basically, we've got everything done. There's just a few areas that we need to fix on the back, on the south side of it. And, the Washington Meeting House will be pretty well taken care of. That's above and beyond our building maintenance. The Wall Street pump, that is a small pump that's down there, that's a stormwater pump, that basically, when it rains, it runs all the time. And it's been there, it's 60-plus years old. That one's never had anything done to it. And it's got a few problems, but really it's still sound, but it needs to be redone, it needs to be gone through. And that's the price to rebuild. Okay, and when we'll look at rebuild and we'll look at replace, and we'll see which one's most economical, but that should cover us for that type of pump either way. The other one is the Goose Creek pump. That's another very old pump that the Corps is listed as one of our less stable pumps. And that's one we really need to look at, and that'd be another one that would be a rebuild. Now, they don't all have to be done at the same time, but if I was recommending, I'd definitely recommend Wall Street. But Goose Creek is a very important one too.
Goose Creek only has 2 pumps in it.
It only has 2 pumps. So, to rebuild.
I saw the other one's 20, is that what
Yeah, this is,
Bigger.
one's about this tall and other.
David, when you talk about rebuilding, that means you have to take it out.
You take it, but you do that during the dry. You do that during your dry season. And it takes him about a month.
Who does it for you?
But we have pumps available for us through a company that we work with, Allied Pumps. They can come in.
Okay. This is Goose Creek. Goose Creek.
Down by
you've been talking
Beechwood,
about
down by
this.
Beechwood.
We've been talking about this for years.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. I've got one on here, the Public Works 2, roof. Well, that's roof, gutters. There's several different things that need to be done out there. The roof we've got it mostly fixed, but we did have a piece come off that we're gonna have to put back on, which we can patch it. But it's got the fasteners on top of the roof. There's so much wind out there, and I don't know if it wasn't properly put on or what, but it's lifted the roof where you can't, it's a rubber roof, but it's just
It's a
It's
Piece
a
of
rubber
work.
roof.
it's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be a problem, you know. And it needs gutters, it needs some paint, it needs a few things done to it. And that should cover most of it right there. Limestone Village drainage, that's one that's went on for years that we've talked about. A lot of people park and there was culvert pipes run down the edge of the road and they rusted out. We go out and we put gravel or try to fix them or repair them, but they really need to be replaced. We can do that with plastic, our guys can do it. It's just mainly a material cost. Asphalt patching and repair, that's in there about every year. That's included, Penny said, so. This GPS system, for engineering and utilities. Where's Mark at? Mark in here.
That's okay.
But anyway, that was the system that we talked about getting, has he talked to you about? Together, so that he can locate all of his stuff too. And that's something that could be got locally, probably, and, you know, it could work for both of us. And we could keep an updated system,
That was on last year's request as well.
but I don't think
Didn't get approved.
we didn't approve it. No. It was
Was it on there?
It was on there, but I didn't.
I've got a note that says utilities.
Well,
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay,
We didn't throw it in
okay.
there.
It was improved.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
I think was that included in that?
I
master
think
plan?
that was included in that plan that Mark and Greg
Yeah.
put together.
So they wanna put, on the utility company trucks, you wanna put.
No.
No.
It
We've
would
already
be-
got that.
Locate the
It would be
lines.
held where they could use, like if they go out,
Oh, okay.
dig up a meter that they didn't know was there,
Okay.
locate valves in the streets. We found numerous manholes this year through the construction projects that we had no idea. They were there, which we fixed them, repaired them, put lids on them, things like that.
Were they covered over the
Yeah,
blacktop?
Covered over, concrete,
Really?
covered over, you know, it just depends. You got concrete lids with just a little, like a septic tank holder on them that you can pull off. I mean, several of those like that. And that's what, you know, and any new construction they can do like that too. It would just be helpful for them too. I got a replacement vehicle in here for Craig, my assistant, which we did do 8,000 last year, but you couldn't find anything for that price. So I've included that in there, 18,000. The electric service at Limestone Landing, again, that's one, if we get that flap grant, that could be used for that. So we can wait on that. And the Cox building, the door case and flooring. Some of the floors need to be stripped in certain areas where they've gotten a lot of wear and redone. And then there's a lot of the door casings that need some attention to them. Doors that have been open.
Yeah, the back door on Market Street is.
I mean, there's several of them, the interior and exterior. And I've had somebody look at it and they've kind of given me a rough estimate of the $20,000, you know. Those are some things we can't do, that kind of casework and stuff. We almost have to have somebody to do it.
How much, what is it, tile floor?
What's that?
Is it tile floor? Tile floor?
No, they're hardwood.
Hardwood?
They're all hardwood. The college cafe needs it pretty bad. The hallways, you can walk through and you can pretty well see.
And Dave, could you get them to knock down that cast iron apron around the Cox building before you go in?
Where
The cafe? Yeah, it's popping up again.
we're gonna get somebody to put a piece around that and level it.
Okay.
Go to the next page.
Yeah. The next page is the grants. And we put on there, of course, we applied for the recreational trail grant last year.
And that's already included in the rec part.
Okay.
Grant or budget.
And we'll be submitting that here probably in the next week or two. It's due May 31st.
Then the match is split between the county and the state.
Right. It's, what, about 35 each? Does that sound right, Kenny?
It was 80-20, it's 318,000.
Yeah. I was thinking the match.
Yeah.
Might be less than that. Okay.
So asphalt annual overlay contract, that's about what our municipal road aid funds are. So I put it at that, so.
And Mayor, you got a letter sent to you, what, just yesterday that thought that cities might be getting a little more than usual? So that's good. That's
Because of
good news.
gasoline.
Yeah.
Not a huge, but some
We should
more,
be
yeah.
getting that.
Yeah, that's good news.
Should be right, we should be getting it real soon. The flap grant for the riverfront, which that's a 90-10, that's the money on there, so. The TAP grant for the sidewalks on West Second Street to the River Park, we've still got that in the going.
Mhm.
We haven't heard anything, but we're listing these so you'll know.
And we're hearing, going back to that flap grant, we're hoping maybe around June we'll hear something on that application.
And so basically, that's a carry forward, because we had match in there, or we had
Yes.
really to pay for it
Yes.
last year, so that's carry forward. And the tap, same way,
Yes.
Yes.
okay.
Excuse me.
And the FEMA stream restoration, which we've had that in for.
We have, but that's not 100%.
It wasn't
If you
100.
recall, I think it's, local is 13, so I just gave Penny the letter, it's about, that's that letter. Our match is, I think, 167,500.
Okay.
And that's to, they don't like to use this word, but dredge behind the library, dredge over here by the pump station. And then David, the only one that's not on here that we need to add is LWCF.
Oh, okay.
And that's a 50-50. I've received approval from an ad hoc steering committee at the Boys and Girls Club to utilize their property for a 1 mile trail. And they are willing to, put in some sort of a match as well on that project. And you estimated just paving alone right around $90,000.
90 to 100, yes.
So it would come off of the Maple Leaf Trail, circle the interior periphery of the Boys and Girls Club campus, and come back out. But I'll get final approval, hopefully get final approval on that at the May 10th meeting.
What is the percentage?
50/50. Y'all have any questions for David? And we will revisit this. We will revisit it, but it's kind of get your mind turning and thoughts on it.
David, would you put down prioritize what you think is the most important?
Yeah, I can do, I'll do it and send it to you.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Can you highlight that? Different
Yeah.
green there,
Yeah.
different color?
Yep. Go ahead.
Would these projects interfere with the work that's gonna need to be done at the utility commission? But from a controller point of view, I wonder, do you have any
No.
input whether these are,
No, they shouldn't.
this is a bad year for it, or it's a good year for it?
Yeah, I don't think that any of these would interfere with any of that.
Well, Dave, I think you've done a good job keeping this old ship afloat. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Keeping things going.
I know that we've completed a lot of the stuff that we had for last year, so that was good. We've got a lot of it done, or in the process. It'll be done by the end of June.
Very good, thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Thanks, Dave.
Chief Doyle?
My request list will be a lot shorter than David's. I'll make sure I note that. Basically, we've only got 2 items that we are requesting funding for this year. And the first one is another new ambulance for our 911 or first out truck, as we call it. Last time we purchased trucks for that purpose was in 2018 when we bought 2. Both of those have about 70,000 miles on them now. It takes about a year to get a truck on the road. In fact, the one we purchased for the smaller truck for our transfers, we approved last year and I still don't have it on the road. So about a year or a little over. So I'm assuming that in a year, our newest trucks will have about 90,000 miles on them apiece. So we are requesting funding for a new one. Originally, I was going to remount one of the boxes off of our current older trucks. When we looked at the numbers, the amount of money that it was going to save us to do that is about what we could get out of one of ours if we sold it used. So we looked at several up online the other day, and of course with used vehicle prices, it's just the way the market is now. So we did request funding for the full amount, assuming that we will be able to sell one for, I think I've got it on here, is $35,000, one of our older ones. So
What was the amount, Chief, on a?
225,000.
Are you buying gassers still?
This one we'll go back to a diesel on this one. Gas has been good. Fuel mileage is terrible. So I think we're gonna go back with a Dodge diesel chassis, so that we've got a local garage to work on it. Hauling these back and forth to Lexington or Cincinnati is getting to be monotonous. So we hope to have a local garage. This is going to be one difference from some of the trucks we bought in the past. This will be on a truck chassis rather than a van chassis, and that is for a few different reasons. Number one, all of my guys have begged for those for years because of the space in the cab. They're just a little bit easier to drive, and especially if you're using them with fire gear on or whatever, they're better for that. But the bigger reason is when we are working on them, especially with our own guys, Steve and the guys at the garage have begged me to go to truck chassis for years, and I haven't because they are just a little bit more expensive. But I think it's time to make that move. So that's what this does.
Actually, being one of the ambulance operators, there's a lot of the driveways that we have ripped the bumpers off the back. Like, you go look at the ambulance sitting in there, we've ripped the rear bumper off just because we can't clear it. And with the truck chassis, you have the airbags or liquid springs where you can even adjust it higher, and we won't tear the back bumper off the ambulance anymore.
So that is the reason behind asking for that truck. And again, as I put in my memo, and I've told you before, EMS has turned into about 80% of what we do, and unfortunately, along with that is all the equipment that we need to make that operate. So it pretty well consumes most of our capital requests. The second item is 4 more cardiac monitors or defibrillators. It's basically a EKG in the back of the truck. We bought 2 of those 2 or 3 years ago. They're an expensive piece of equipment. When we bought those 2, we said we would try to piecemeal in the other 4 to get all of our 6 ambulances up to par. We haven't been able to secure the funding to do that. So this year's probably it. We're kind of at the end of the line with those. And I asked Max Von Druska, who's one of my senior paramedics and helps me a lot with some of the EMS administrative stuff, to do some research, and he's been working with some vendors on these. And so I asked him to come in and maybe explain a little bit more of the clinical side of these to you also.
So we have, our oldest ones are old, they're at least 20, 25 years old, so the battery capacities and everything is not very good. There's a lot of warnings that we're getting on them. And then our Phillips that we have in transport ambulances have a lot of damage, and they went through a class 1 recall a couple years ago. And Phillips said, hey, we'll come out with something new about that, and they never did, and now the FDA has recommended not using those. Because Phillips eventually said, well, we're not gonna make any fixes for this recall. And it's too expensive for us, we're not doing it, sorry about your luck. So now we have one with a damaged screen that we can't get anything for because Phillips doesn't make replacement parts. And now the FDA is saying that we shouldn't even use those. And when we started talking about this, some of the representatives we use say, hey, the FDA is coming out with this ban coming soon, so we're like, oh crap, let's try to get this, a little bit faster. And then now all the vendors are increasing their prices. So we don't actually have a quote because as of the 30th, there's a 10% increase on those old prices. Beginning of the year, LifePak or Physio Control also went through a 10% increase on the prices. So we don't actually have a real number yet, but
What would you think, Max? What's your thought on, any idea on what that cost might be?
Our Zoll rep said they retail for 45. Since we're city government, we can get them for about 40,000 a piece.
Which is what I put in for the request.
Okay.
And then also with the monitor, it'd probably be another $1,600 a year if we were to do a service contract yearly. And of course, I think they go out to 8 years at a time, and they discount it the more years you do. But that's so if we do drop the new monitors and break the screen, it's covered. The only thing they don't cover is water damage and loss of stolen. Like all the cords that we have right now, we have to buy $250 to $500 cables every couple months on the monitors because the cords are going bad. Those cords are covered by this warranty.
Well, if we get them, we'll put them on our equipment list on insurance if they were to get stolen.
Yeah. But I mean, the warranty works, so it goes off every year for a PM, and they make sure everything's working. And with the $1,600 warranty, they fix everything.
Which, I mean, we have money allocated in our line item budget for that type of expense anyway, so.
So, Kevin or Penny, do we still recoup some of our cost with income from ambulance reimbursements?
Sure, I mean, yeah. And it's been a while now since we've put pencil to all those numbers, and, I could twist that and tell you that we're paying for all different things, but the bottom line is, yes, there is income coming in. It's not a moneymaker, we're basically a non-for-profit ambulance service, but it certainly offsets a lot of our budget.
Our revenue is about $1.2 million a year in the ambulance.
Which helps cover some of this
Yes.
cost.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Any questions for Chief or Max?
And we'll try to get you more numbers after the 30th, because that's when all the prices go up and they have their official bids for us. So.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Okay. I know I sent in my email, and you said you're going to be out on May. Are you out the whole time, or will you be back for the regular part of the meeting?
I'm not out, I just have family coming to
Okay.
stay with me. That's-
Okay, understood.
And they'll leave Friday.
Okay. Because what I'd like to do is give this young lady time to put books together. Let's see here.
Can we do it the 16th?
Let's see.
So the whole week of the 9th.
So yeah, so the whole week of that ninth.
Oh, no, I'm not out the whole week. I just got family coming on the 12th.
They're coming on the
They're
12th.
coming
Well,
to
let me
stay.
ask you all this. What if we shifted the 12th meeting to the 11th?
That's fine.
and did a special budget meeting. And I'd like to have it a little bit longer and get more folks in here and then roll into what would essentially be a special regular meeting.
I'd have to, as long as it was earlier in the day, that is, Mitch's retirement at the airport board is that night.
Okay,
And we have, it starts at 5:30.
okay, okay.
So if we did it earlier in the day, I'm fine with that.
I won't be back until 12. I won't be back until after the 12.
Okay,
We could do,
yeah, we can go through,
Police.
yeah, we can go through everything else but yours and come back to yours.
I'm going
Please,
tonight.
That's fine.
until 12.
Okay. Commissioner, how are you looking there?
I look pretty tired. A little weather warm, but other than that, pretty
Hungry.
11?
11th, Andrew, you good? David? Okay,
What time?
well, that's what we're gonna, what if we did, early afternoon, is that, like maybe 1 o'clock? Would that be?
Yeah.
1 o'clock, maybe spend an hour and a half, roughly, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours budget, and then go into a regular meeting, is that?
regular meeting on Wednesday.
Well, yeah, see, well, we would have our regular meeting on the 12th.
Right.
Or we can,
Just move the meeting over. I think that's what you're doing.
that's what I was, yeah. Since we're gonna be together already, why not just do two special meetings essentially?
So you're gonna have a budget meeting at 1 o'clock on the 11th, and then go into the city.
Yeah, how's that, does that work? Would that be okay with everyone? Let's say 1 and 3, just to give us time. That way we can cover just about everybody, with the exception of Public Works. Police, utility, tourism, Main Street,
anybody.
general.
I gotta get my calendar.
Okay.
I should have the
Something
budget.
something in my
It's
eye.
fine.
Yeah. How's that sound?
Are we waiting on you to confirm that?
We'll wait till he
And I'll
comes
try to
by.
have the books by like next Friday in your boxes, so you have the weekend and plenty of time to look at it. If you wanna come see me beforehand, with any questions, concerns, we can iron out some of that as well. If you have any questions.
I think, do you think an hour and a half? I think an hour and a half would be plenty for a budget session. Would you? And then, because we're gonna have more anyway.
Right.
Why don't we do 1 to 2:30, and then at 2:30 start the regular meeting? Well, special meeting.
The regular special.
Unless you all just wanna keep the regular meeting where it's at on
I'd rather
Thursday.
move it with Mike.
Well, that's right, yeah, with your,
family
okay,
coming in. I'm
okay.
good with moving it.
okay,
without
let's do that.
freezing it up.
Let's shoot, if Commissioner Cartmore is good, let's shoot for 1 o'clock budget meeting, 2:30 regular meeting.
Well,
I'll
or
be there.
if we can get more of the budget done, I know we haven't had done Dennis's yet, but if you had more, so that we could get more of the budget done, I say let's,
Well, and what we could do, Mayor, is we could just add budget workshop on the regular meeting agenda, just in case we just flowed right, so we've got it as an item,
okay.
Mhm.
make sure we got it on both of them. That way we can continue
Still
discussion
the
that way.
11th.
Yeah.
Still the 11th. At 1
Does that
o'clock.
sound good? 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you wanna do
Would you wanna
budget
do it
workshops every day that week for now, or just do it all one day?
Well, I think that will give her time to get the books ready, get them to you all, and give you all a little bit of time. And then I think after that week, after that following week, then, because again, I would love to have, ideally, the first reading on the 26th, if we could, second reading of the budget at our first meeting in June. And we're done. So we'll have that week in between those two meetings if we need to have a few more.
Should we go ahead and schedule that since Dennis can't do it? Should we schedule for his?
Doesn't matter to me, whatever
When
you
are
want.
you gonna be,
I'm gonna be in Vegas.
when are you?
Oh, you got a
I
conference.
leave I leave the 8th and won't be back until the 12th.
You've got a solid waste conference. don't you?
Yes. So, I won't be back
So
until.
can we all go too?
Oh.
Sure.
Do you
Dave-
wanna do Dennis like one day next week?
Garbage business out?
Do you all want to do Dennis one day next week?
At lunchtime?
That's
Fine,
fine.
it sounded.
Yeah.
Okay.
It even sounded.
Penny, what sounds good to you?
I'm good any day. I'm thinking I can't do the fifth. I think I've got a doctor's one.
And
Dermatologist.
the only day I have then, if you knock out the 5th, is Monday, the 2nd.
I mean,
Monday's fine with
if
me.
we're, yeah, I mean, I won't be any further along. with
No, we won't have the
this,
books, but at
Yeah.
least we can go over what he's.
Right.
Yeah, Monday's fine with me.
I can't do my man, I've got accreditation.
Oh, you got accreditation, yeah.
Yeah, Monday's
It's
fine.
okay. It's okay.
It's
Well,
okay.
let
Well, I
let's.
can do one of the other days if it's not at lunchtime.
Okay.
Tuesday morning, we got a staff meeting, so we couldn't be,
Couldn't be. Yeah. Well, it could be that morning,
it
but
could be that morning, mid-morning after that, if you wanted to.
We
I'd
already
want to
got
stay
some-
away. I would want to stay away from Tuesday morning.
We got something else already.
Yeah.
The morning of.
Unless we did it at 8 o'clock.
Fine with me.
But you getting up early, didn't
Or 8.
Tuesday the 2nd at 8.
No,
Tuesday the third.
Tuesday the 3rd at 8.
I might be in my road, but I'll be here.
It's fine.
Or 8:30, 30 minutes? Do you need more than 30
Tuesday.
minutes?
I don't think so. 30 minutes.
3rd,
you? Yeah, it won't take too
I'm
long.
sure everybody will
All
love
right,
it.
so the 3rd
All
at
you gotta do is
8:30.
say yes on mine.
8:30.
8:30.
Are you okay? I know
I
you're
don't
you're
know,
going
I
you're
just
going
have
through a
to-
lot of. He's got a lot of stuff. I know working on that
No.
accreditation. Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
Can we do it the next week? Do we-
Well, let's keep it. Okay. So we got May 11th.
I mean, we could do Monday morning, if it's early, or Friday of that week, but I'm not available Monday afternoon or Tuesday,
second?
Wednesday, or Thursday.
Well, how about Monday morning?
I'm good.
On the 2nd?
We'll say 8:30 Monday morning.
9:30 sounds good. to me.
Okay.
Do
Okay,
that.
so
May
8:30 on the
2nd.
2nd.
Dennis, you good?
Yeah,
Okay.
That'll help move it along. Get us
May 2nd.
further along before.
8:30. Okay, and then we've got May 11th, 1 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. Is that good? Everybody got that? Got that?
May 11th,
May the
2nd
second,
at 8:30.
May the 11th.
Monday morning, 8 o'clock.
You might better send us a reminder.
I will. I'll send them out to you. I will.
Okay,
May the 11th. From 1 to 2:30.
Say that again, Monday at 8:30 and.
May 2nd, 8:30, May 11th, 1 p.m. and 2:30.
And then the regular meeting from 3.
Let's just shoot for 2:30. I think we can get through budget, hour and a half. And if we need more, we'll put budget workshop on that
Okay.
agenda.
Then we go in and
Yes. Okay.
okay, any other business?
Not for this one, no ma'am.
All right, I need a motion.
So move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cartmel,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell.
Yes, ma'am.
Got a break? And